Okay, we are here, definitely live in your face, in your mobile phone, on your computer and YouTube. We're here on Facebook. We're also on Instagram. Again, it's the MacTV Football Show with your host Mike McIntyre, and we have Just Sean, better known on his media handle as Just Sean, rather. Sean Williams, how you doing, Sean?
What's going on, cousin? Another day.
I'm doing good. First
Football
week,
is back.
this is true. It's fall, basically. We're almost at fall.
America's happy.
Weather's changing. Um, but anyway, let's get started right into into this week's show. I want to start by it's Thursday. We did it a little bit later than we wanted to, but it's already Thursday. And about an hour from now, we're going to be kicking off Miami Dolphins and the Buffalo Bills. Let's get right into previewing that game before we talk about last week's game and then preview this upcoming week. Give me some of your thoughts on the Buffalo Miami game tonight.
Definitely a big game. Both teams 1-0. The Dolphins squeaked one out. We struggled a
Mhm.
little bit in our first game, but when I look at this game, we we are an underdog. But at the end of the day, when you look at both teams, we've got the better quarterback in Josh
Okay.
Allen. And so, one thing that you can do with the Dolphins, you can bully them. They're not a physical team. They're a very
Okay.
finesse team.
Hmm.
So they can still win this game. I'm not saying I don't think that we're underdogs. I think it's even.
Hmm.
But then it's still, I just want to see more of Josh Allen with these new acquisitions and in this new cluster of receivers and just see kind of how it all plays out. My thing is this, and it's real simple. If our defense can get to Tua, I think we'll be okay. Because
Okay.
I'm not knocking Tua. He's a solid quarterback, but he's definitely the kind of quarterback like step back, he needs to just make that throw. Like he's not the kind of guy that can scramble around and try to create. If we can put pressure on Tua, it will be a long day for the Miami Dolphins. And that to me is the key. I think with the Josh Allen, I don't think they have the defense to be able to keep up. Now they've got a high-powered offense, so
Right.
our defense is definitely going to be on their toes in regards to the man who got arrested at 10 o'clock in the morning that was catching 80-yard touchdowns 4 hours
Right.
later. We all know who that
Right.
man was.
Well,
They are a very dangerous team, but they are very beatable.
oh,
I'm like this with the Dolphins. I think they get too many flowers, and until they start winning big games, I'm just I'm on that prove it. So you start beating us more in the regular season, like you beat us in big games, and I'll give you those flowers. But in regards to even last year, you literally handed the division back over to us when you had it locked up, and then you go to the first round of the playoffs and y'all get worked. So it's
well,
like we always talk stuff about playoff about the Dolphins, but I want to see it.
let me say this. My overview is basically very simple. I'm thinking this for the for Miami. This is a chance to get right with like what you said, get right on what happened last year at the end of the year. And for the Dolphins, I disagree with you. I agree with what you're saying, meaning the Bills should be the favorite in the division. Let me see. I think I did choose the Bills, correct, to win the division, or did I not? Let me think. Yes, I did choose the Bills to win this division, going from the standpoint of they've been on top. You've done nothing to knock them off. Until you knock them off, you got to go with them. But what I will say is for Miami, this is a huge game because this is the type of game you have to win. This is in your own place. And if you can't beat them in your own place early in the season, when they've lost the people who they've lost, and the reason I think the Bills is a slight underdog is because last year, the last 4 years probably, at least the last 3 years, there's somebody who had the Bills going to the Super Bowl, and I don't think there's nobody who have the Bills going to the Super Bowl this year. So therefore, there's not much expectations out of the Bills. So I think they are an underdog in that respect. I think everybody thinks they'll split, meaning Miami wins at home and they win in their place. So you got to get this one. If you don't get this one, there's no doubt it's going to come back to bite you at the end of the year. And the other thing is, you said Miami's not physical. I say they don't like cold weather. Same thing, probably what we're talking about. I think they need home field advantage in the playoffs. So they're not only playing to win their division, they actually are playing for that number one seed. There's nowhere else they can go, and everybody else that's Baltimore, Baltimore, whether it's Cincinnati, whether it's Buffalo, whether it's the Jets, any of those teams, they have to go through cold weather in order to get where they want to go. So they shouldn't leave it up to that. They should get that number one seed. So my thought is they have to get it. Buffalo, I think, is playing with house money. This is not their time. They can come in free. Like you said, I think he should needs to hit them receivers a little more, put a little more weight on those receivers early in the season to see what they can do so he understands what he has, or if they need to make some changes or go to the during the trading deadline, whatever they need, look for a trade or what have you, to shore up that receiver group. I didn't see a lot out of Kincaid. I'd like to see more out of him if he's going to be that dude.
Definitely want to see some more out of Kincaid.
This is a type of game you're on the road and it's a division game. People
We're
need to
gonna need
step
y'all
up.
to follow.
You're
Absolutely.
exactly right. So overall, I think it's going to be a very good game. At least I hope for a good game. The line is 2.5 over 48 and a half. So I'm looking for a good game. So now that we've kind of previewed this game, again,
I can say one more
just
thing.
yeah, no problem. Let me just finish
One
this by
thing.
saying I'm looking for Tyreek Hill to have even a better game. You mentioned about if you guys can get to Tua. That's what I'm expecting not to happen. I'm expecting quick throws, get rid of the ball quick, a lot of slants, a lot of bubble screening, especially early on to get everybody comfortable and to get the Bills not coming so hard, to get them checking, doing more reading than just coming downhill. So I'm thinking that type of a game plan can get Miami off, and I think that'll help. So go ahead. What'd you say?
The only thing I wanted to add is I appreciate what you said about because this is technically like a slight rebuild year for us. You know, we had to get cheaper. We had to let some receivers go because we couldn't pay them. We did good in the draft.
Mhm.
I feel like this is the kind of year where because you're not in that Super Bowl spotlight, that's what makes you dangerous
Yeah.
because you aren't looked at like that until you have to look at them like that. I'm here to tell you right now, if the Bills can squeak their way to the playoffs, look out because at the end of the day, we got one of the elite quarterbacks, and you seen what he did last week. 4 total touchdowns, about total 270 something yards, and between the air and the ground. I mean, Josh Allen is a walking cheat code, and I don't say that to be biased. I mean, it's facts, and as a matter of fact, we haven't been blown out in 42 games. In the
Mhm.
past 42 games, we set an NFL record. We kept the margin no greater than six,
Mhm.
six or less over the past 42 games, which is now an NFL record. So it could go either way for sure, but I think we'll find a way to squeak it out only because we have elite quarterback stats, and I think that's always what kind of tips the scales is when you have a guy that's special like that and he can kind of just create magic. But
So
we'll have to
you
see.
So you've got Buffalo winning tonight, but regular straight up Buffalo winning. However,
Like a
the line is 2.5 and it's over 48 and a half. So if you had to bet it, you would be. I assume you're taking the Bills plus the points. And do
I
you like it
mean,
over or under?
oh, that's going over.
So you like it over the 48. So Bills and over for Sean. And I'm gonna tell you guys take Miami and over and go ahead and go to sleep. Uh, It's early in the season. It's early in the season. Tua and the Dolphins are known for coming out to a good start. Their problem is going to be later on in the season. Are they going to play well? But early in the season, it's hot out. Tyreek Hill is brimming off with what happened to him, like you said, at 10 o'clock in the morning this past Sunday. And I believe the whole team's going to rally behind him. All of that. They feel they can get the Bills. But I do believe early in the game it will be close. It's going to be one or the other. It's going to either be Miami's going to come out and go up to a 14-0 lead and finish off and ride it out, or it's going to be a slow start, but they're going to finish strong. But ultimately, I think they're going to win by at least a touchdown. I like Miami and over in this one.
Yeah, it's definitely going to be a
I
good
hope
game.
it's a good game though. So let's jump into last week. I got some games that I want to go over with because I thought there was some interesting games, and so these are the games I picked out to go over. Sean, Buffalo's game with Arizona. Let's since we just left with Buffalo, let's start with that game. What did you think about last week, and what do you give us about a minute and talk about that game and what you felt you learned from it?
Well, the game honestly didn't surprise me. I expected us to start off rusty. Josh Allen didn't play any in the preseason, so I
Hmm.
expected us to start off a little rusty. At halftime, it was 17-3. Kyle Murray looked phenomenal. I will say early in that game, which kind of gave them a momentum shot that we had to kind of take away and catch up with. They called the most bogus roughing the passer call on Kyler Murray. It was atrocious. It was blasphemous. And the
Was it a
worst
third
thing they
down
said,
call?
yeah,
Mm.
where he was scrambling. I don't know if you saw it.
I didn't see it. I just didn't know if it was a third down play, which makes it even
It
more
was a third
crucial.
down play, and so like that would have forced them to kick the field goal. But instead, they get a first set of downs. That turns into a touchdown. So like that momentum, they rode with that through halftime. So at halftime, it's 17-3. And I'm still not tripping because I know what the Bills can do. We got Josh Allen. And so it's like we were able to, right before halftime, it was 17-10. I'm sorry.
Mhm.
And so going into halftime, getting the ball back, and we were able to tie it up. And I could just tell we were slowly working our way back. But it's just like, slow start, first game of the year, working out the kinks, didn't play any in the preseason. And, the Cardinals defense is not that good. I mean, they're a solid team, and like you see a lot of potential. Kyler Murray is gonna make Marvin Harrison Jr. a star. That's on the horizon. They have a solid team. They just got to work on that defense. But we did. I want our defense to sharpen up a little bit, but we're also banged up. I will say this: Von Miller looked a lot like himself. He had a lot of pressures. And he had a sack. He looked more
Right.
himself. And
Hmm.
with the absence of Matt Milano, we're gonna need that to step up. So I'm liking that. I think he just needed a whole year to get himself back. Vaughn looked great, and I'll take that win. We got to just keep on going.
One of the things I'm going to take from your thoughts on that game, I didn't actually see the game. I seen some highlights. I seen the final score. I seen what it was early on. Uh, so from what you're saying is the Bills getting off to a slow start, as far as you've seen it, being a little bit rusty, not playing in the preseason, um, allowed Arizona to get ahead of them. But the biggest thing that I heard you say that is Von Miller looked a lot like his old self. And if that happens, that he is a force this year, if he has more than 10 sacks, um, I Buffalo looks a lot different. I mean, other than Allen playing real bad, if we get from Allen what we expect to get, if Von Miller is a problem on that end, and he can get the Bills a pass rush, that's going to change them significantly. And so that's the biggest thing I take from it because I did hear somebody else say Von Miller looked good, and so that's what I took out of that game. Like you said, a typical start of the year game. The home team did win. Arizona looked good. They're in a tough conference, so they're going to have to, like you said, they're going to have to work on that defense for sure because the other quarterbacks in that league will light them up if they're not ready.
Absolutely.
Stafford, Purdy, and Geno. That offense at San Francisco is something, and then of course uh, Matthew Stafford, they looked very good in their first game, even in a loss.
Absolutely.
So
Absolutely.
let's move on to the other game that's very interesting. I thought was a very interesting outcome, and I did watch some of it, and the score looked exactly like the game. It's the Cincinnati loss to the Patriots at home,
Woo!
16-10. Let me start off on
You want me
this
to
one.
start that, or you want me to start that? Because I might have
No,
to go a little. Let you
I
start that one.
I'll start on it and I'll just say three things. Again, this game may be the game that says, "Hey guys, it's the first week. Okay, let's not make a big deal out of week 1. We got 16 weeks to go." But barring that, I understand that, but what I'm going to say is there's no way the Patriots can be that good. And unfortunately, Cincinnati may be that bad. I do believe when Cincinnati stars don't play like stars, I don't really believe in the rest of that team. So when Joe Burrow isn't playing like Joe Burrow, which he's been a long time since he has, and Chase mad about a contract, same way with Higgins mad about a contract, you trade Mixon. I don't know if everybody else other than those four people are that great of players and them as a team. And to me, it looked like it. Burrow played bad. They didn't really Chase didn't look like himself. Higgins wasn't there and Mixon wasn't there. I don't know how they changed this other than play better, but this was one of the worst teams in the league. Therefore, you're supposed to be able to get this at home first game of the year, been waiting all year. Not only that, Burrow was in camp all year. I want to hear this stuff about that wrist. Either you can't play, sit out like Wilson did, or you can play. So again, that's what I have to say about it. I can't believe Cincinnati. I can't believe Cincinnati is that bad. I can't believe Indianapolis would be that good. Or we seen exactly what we seen. both teams are bad, and the worst team and one team beat the other team. Go ahead. You say.
Mike, you know what? I sat there and looked at that score. I'll say this: I am going to give them a pass on this game. However, I have also put them on high alert. I got the spotlight on you now. I'm gonna let you slide on that because it's the first week. You should not have gotten slid like that versus the hapless New England Patriots on your home field. I don't care if Higgins ain't playing.
Right.
That was ridiculous.
Well,
But
I
then
want
again,
to.
like we talked about, you said perhaps maybe the Bengals are that bad. I just think that they played that bad. And
Okay,
maybe Joe
so
needs to ditch the Eminem blonde hair and go back to his regular hair. I don't know what's going on. But I just think they were just completely out of sync. But what I want to see from them this coming Sunday is I want to see a team that plays with urgency and has woken up and been like, hey, we the Cincinnati Bengals. It's time to go out there and just do it. That's
well
what I'm
they
expecting.
okay. So they have. Well, let me say this: they have no choice but to do that because you know who they play this week?
Who do they play?
Kansas City
Oh, they play.
in Kansas City. So my point is, we'll find out pretty fast because there's no other reason to get up for any other team than Kansas City, and you are supposed to be the Kansas City uh, uh, kryptonite. You know,
Which is crazy. So let's go with that. So that just helps you to appreciate how they needed to win this game, knowing
I
that you're
agree.
playing Kansas City and you come out that flat. So now
I
you're
agree.
staring down the barrel of 0-2 because you got to go to Arrowhead with Kelsey and the Swifties.
I don't know if they came out flat or didn't know what to expect. Like I don't necessarily not they didn't have a flat tire. One of their tires was missing. That's called mixing. The other another tire was missing. Another tire was missing. That's called Higgins.
Niggas.
The one tire is a steal from last year, but that tire doesn't seem like it wants to perform. And then one tire maybe just be a bad tire, and that's Burrow. Like I don't know. I don't.
I
Let me say this: Joe Burrow is not like, for instance, when Josh Allen plays. If Josh Allen would have played the quarterback position as bad as Burrow did, he can still win because in a game that's 10-16, he could have had 80 yards rushing and two rushing TDs.
Mhm.
Joe Burrow don't have anything to go to other than he's supposed to be a sharp, accurate passer. He's supposed to be able to read defenses, and he's supposed to be a good leader. He did none of that. So I
I
don't.
I I'm speechless. I really don't
Yeah,
know.
yeah.
Weird. That's one
So
of the weirdest games ever. Like I said, we'll see how
I'm
they
go-
play against Kansas City.
and
I'm expecting them to come out.
I'm willing to let you what you said. I'm willing to let that be what we say this week. We're going to give them a pass. We'll turn this page, and we'll. It's going to be short order that we're going to be talking about them again because they play Kansas City this
Absolutely.
week. So
And
okay,
granted, if they play Kansas City tough, then I'll still let it slide. But if you come out there and get shellacked again, now I'm really questioning who y'all are.
yeah, I agree. I agree because you ain't even been in your division yet. So, uh,
Exactly.
and they don't play Pittsburgh till the end of the season, so they must play since I mean Baltimore earlier. So, and that's Baltimore kills them every time. So,
Yeah.
next game that I thought was very interesting, mainly because of who was in it. We don't have to spend a lot of time on it, but did you see the outcome? Did you see the statistics? Did you see any highlights? Did you hear about the Chicago 24-17 win against Tennessee?
That's one game I didn't pay too much attention to.
Okay,
But
well you heard Caleb played bad.
yeah, I
The
saw his
whole
stat.
offense only had 146 yards total. At home, first game of the year with the All-American guy who's a can't miss guy who I felt is a can't miss guy. Let me just ask you the question: bad game, first game, rookie game, uh, or we need to worry?
Rookie.
Rookie game. Okay.
But we can't expect, you know, think about just the wide receiver position from itself. Like they typically say with most receivers, it takes a couple years to get used to the speed in the NFL. Well, how much more so with a quarterback who's got to read defenses and you're putting this ball in tight windows. I just think that he just needs to settle in and just learn. You know,
Good deal.
that position is the toughest position of all the positions, and it just takes time.
I'll go
So
with
that's
that.
that.
I will go with that. But when you have DeAndre Swift, when you have um, Keenan Allen, when you have DJ Moore, and when you have a touted rookie, Ozunde or whatever his name is, I apologize for not being able to pronounce it. Um, I expect a little more than 146 yards from somebody who was clearly a number one pick like he was. To me, that performance was shades of the last number one pick overall, which you know who that was.
My brain has been. It's,
Bryce Young.
well, thank you.
Okay.
Whew.
So my point is, we knew, I hope people try not to forget, but going into last season, the team that was considered the worst team in the whole NFL was the Houston Texans. They had second pick and they took CJ Stroud. And CJ Stroud did not have one game like that. And he was a rookie also, playing for a bad team. Now, Bryce Young might not even have played that bad as he played, or at least statistics wise. He still didn't play well, probably in really any game last year. And he had a bad game starting this year. So that's fine. We'll get off of that. I will side with you, and our official take will be hey, it was the first game. He's a rookie. Let's give him a chance. I'll go with that. Next game, we have to go to because you see the shirt that I got on. What'd you think about that 18-10 game with Pittsburgh and Atlanta?
Stellars, a lot of field goals.
Yes.
I was joking with one of my friends. I was like, y'all's kicker was probably soaking his foot in a bucket of ice. All the field goals he was kicking. Man, offensive player of the week.
Hmm.
um, you guys are pretty much, and I've said this before. If you guys can get any stability in your
Hmm.
offense in regards to moving sticks,
Right.
Pittsburgh Steelers probably have a top two defense in the NFL. You guys'
Right.
defense is that good. It's
Right.
unfortunate because you guys have to play. Defense plays about 45 minutes a game. It seems like, and it's like they're just
Yeah.
always out
Right.
there. If you can regulate that, and I mean, I'm watching TJ Watt. Let me tell you something. TJ Watt is one of the only players that when you say Hut, I watch him and not the quarterback. I watch him. You say Hut, most of your people just watch the quarterback. Or I mean,
Yeah.
I'm not saying everybody, but you get what I'm saying. Just in regards to,
Yes.
I
I
watch
know.
him. He is
Yes.
a freak of nature, and it's crazy how he is able to disrupt an entire offense by
And
himself.
and when you watch their defense that way, not only do you see how much of a beast he is by because of the sacks, because of the pressures, because of the tip balls, because of the strip, you also see how many times he gets held.
Oh, absolutely.
That's not called, and some are
They
called.
don't call all the time, exactly.
Yeah. So my thing is with that game is I'm gonna make it short and sweet. The things that I loved about that game was three things. One is that we scored six times. The other thing was our offensive line looked good, and our secondary tackled very well. If those three things stay all year long, we will be fine. Meaning, we score four to six times a game. Now, if we had only scored four times and we'd had 12 points, I'd have been upset because we need to have a touchdown or two for our defense. But if we score six times, even if it's six field goals or one touchdown and five field goals, you're still talking 22, 23 points, which is enough to win with the defense that we have. If our line still plays well, meaning what you said, we'll be able to move the sticks some and we'll take some of the time so that our defense has a chance to rest. And our
Mhm.
secondary needs to tackle, which means our that means that's always the worst part of our defense is our D backs. Either they can't cover or they can't tackle one of the other, and that's usually a problem. And I was so happy that they made great tackles, and even on coverage they were there, even if they didn't make the deflection or interception, which is why they got a couple of interceptions because they were around the ball. So that's the only thing I got to say about that.
My only,
I
my only
said,
rebuttal to that would
what'd you
be
say?
this. I said my only rebuttal to that would be this. I don't think that you guys just. I would have liked to have seen you guys get in the end zone at least once. For a 17-week slate, and this goes on to the last couple years, especially last year. I felt like you guys had a problem scoring touchdowns.
You're right, but let me say what the difference is. You are correct, but in this game we didn't need to because we ran the ball well, we tackled well, and we didn't turn the ball over. So scoring six times, even if it's all field goals, that means you drove the ball into the other team's territory. You and you didn't turn the ball over at all to give them a short field. Your defense played well because you play with the you play by your defense. Um, and so that's why I'm okay with it. I watched the game, and yes, I'd have rather got in the end zone, but this was a game you didn't have to get in the end zone. So my only point is there. Yes, there will be games to where you might say, "Man, you guys need," or I may say, "If we had got that touchdown, we kicked the field goal, we can't get in the end zone." Yes, because we've only scored 9 points, or we've only scored 6 points, or we've scored, or we were down there and got stopped on fourth down a bunch of times. So I get your point. Everybody wants to get in the end zone, but we have no quarterback yet. So if we can still, if what the quarterback we have can get us in the other team's in field goal range 6 times in a game, and we can convert those 6 field goals, that's a good game. So again, I have to, give them at least a passing grade, and because I didn't know
Oh, they
whether
play
this,
strong.
yeah, I
They
gave
play
them a
strong.
passing grade. So let's go to the next one. Another interesting game, and the reason I put this one on there, one of for a couple reasons. One is people was wondering was there going to be a sophomore slump. The other reason was I didn't see the game, but they say that Anthony Richardson put on a show.
Listen,
And obviously CJ Stroud got the win again. He played well enough to win. They said he had a crucial 3rd and 11 at the end of the game, and he completed that 3rd and 11. That kid is a dog. CJ Stroud. I believe he's just soon will be the second best quarterback in the league, and he will be the Manning to
ooh,
Mahomes' Brady.
second overall. What?
Yeah,
That's
who
saying a lot
yeah,
there, cousin.
who would be fighting him for that? Well, okay, I present company present co- and hey, listen, and that will be and to me, that will be who is Breeze and who is Manning. That's what that'll
You're
be.
looking down the road.
Well, I'm looking down the road because I see Josh Allen and him being the only people that's stepping up. Lamar Jackson is going to fade into a category by itself that is always going to be underneath them because he just doesn't throw the ball well enough.
He doesn't. And Lamar is that if there's 10 minutes left in the game and you're down by 14 points, Lamar doesn't have that kind of arm to be able to just start slinging it. And
Correct.
there comes a point in time in the game where the quarterback knows, listen, we ain't really going to be running the ball much. We are going to sling that ball around. Jordan Love can do it. Mahomes can do it. Burrow does it. Mahomes does it. Rogers, like there's those
Yeah.
guys that just do it. Lamar has to be up,
Yeah. He
or
will
it's got to be like even.
yeah, he'll always
When
be
you
four.
know the pass is coming,
For me, he'll
it's
always be
horrible.
four. As long as he's playing well and doing well, he'll be 4 or 5. I mean, he's
Just
just never.
what
He
his
just doesn't have
makeup.
the. Yeah, he doesn't have the qualities, the skills to be the best quarterback in the league. Um, because the best quarterback in the league is never the best runner in the league. So that's how I see him. So when he's 3, 4, 5, or 6, that's where he's at. If he all of a sudden does his passing gets worse or he stops running, then he'll go farther down in that ranking. So that's how I see it. So my point was, did you hear about Indy? Did you hear about Richardson, or did you see any of the highlights?
He had one throw. He kind of threw off his back foot, and he put that on a rope. I'm like, this dude is. I mean, that's dangerous. Anthony Richardson's biggest problem
Yeah.
is he's injury prone. If he cannot be, if he, if, because your best ability is availability. I don't care who you are, and if he can stay healthy, that man is dangerous.
Now let me say this
Very
about
dangerous.
him. He has the ability to be a dynamic runner uh, Josh Allen and Lamar Jackson and them guys. However, he has the arm talent to where he doesn't have to depend on it.
Yes.
So he's different from Lamar Jackson because now what I want to watch for is what kind of accuracy does he have. Because now what happens is if you can throw all the balls, that's fine. But if you're only a strong arm quarterback, then you have to have an offense that fits that, which means your offense coordinator's got to have be able to have an offense that suits that. Kind of
Absolutely.
like the Dan Marino offense back what Don Marino had and what
Yes.
Fouts had. They had strong arm down the field type offenses. They had dynamic receivers, and that's what they could do. So we'll see what happens with him. At least the good thing about Anthony Richardson is he has Jonathan Taylor, so he doesn't have to worry about having to throw the ball every single down, not worrying about run game, which is going to help him. So I wanted to touch on that game because of the quarterbacks for sure. and Indy because I mean Houston rather because a lot of people have them at least getting to the conference. I mean, yeah, the conference finals, AFC conference final this year. Next game we have to go. I guess you can't have a sports show on TV or online without talking about the Dallas Cowboys. So I'll let you lead on Dallas.
Yeah, he must be a Steelers fan. He does not like them Cowboys. The
Well, they
Cowboys look
just
really good. And the one thing I'll say about them where I will tip my hat to them is they don't typically play well away from the $1 billion playpen, and
correct.
they seem to settle in and handle business. They look pretty sharp, but this is what the Cowboys do. We all know what the Cowboys do. You know, they're always solid until they just tear your heart out. But I mean, I'm a Bills fan. I know all about
Yeah, 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 yeah. And again, you may know about that, but that's how the Steelers are. We haven't won a playoff game in a decade. So again, we have these same type things. However, I'm overall, I don't believe we are like Dallas fans and we're like Dallas's owner and some of the Dallas players where they're going to Super Bowl every year just because they've won a game. My big thing was is I have to give them credit. They played an overall game against what was considered a very good defense in a tough place to play, and Dak looked very good coming off being now the highest paid player in the league. Um, a lot of people didn't think he deserved to be that. I didn't even deserve to be that. I understand the market sets the tone. However, I was in favor of Jerry Jones not paying him right now and then outbidding whoever they have to bid at the end of the season because he showed you that you should outbid who's ever bidding him after the season. Now you are stuck no matter what kind of season he has. And
right.
like you said, if it's the same old Dallas, then they're going to lose in the first round and they're going to be sick.
Yeah,
So,
and that's my thing too is when they played the Green Bay Packers in that playoff game, they just didn't get beat. They got murdered. It was totally inexcusable. I watched Micah Hyde, not Micah Hyde. I'm sorry, Micah Parsons. I
yeah.
watched him. He like he quit. Like they were gutted,
Mhm.
and I believe they were home. Am I
Yes.
wrong?
Yes. Green Bay went in there
You,
and torched them.
you can't get dog walked in the $1 billion playpen in the playoffs, and then we just it's just it's crazy.
Yeah.
Now what happened is so you paid Dak, you just paid CD, you can't
Yep.
pay Micah too. Something's got to give.
I
Micah wants
agree.
his money too.
I
Then you're going
agree.
to have all this money tied up in three people. I think you're seeing the beginning of the end of the Cowboys from a financial standpoint. I'm not trying to hate. I just don't. I think they missed their window a little bit because they're not going to be able to build because they're going to have to pay money that they're going to be cash strapped.
Yeah, I can see that. I can see that. My only thing is the end of the Cowboys could be winning seasons, but nothing done in the soup. In other words, continuing this 25-year drought that they're already in. So the end of the Cowboys could have been 25 years ago, and we just didn't realize it because we're just hoping. But I don't
Right.
know that they're, you know what I mean? So, and I say that because just coming from where I come from, if the Tomlin goes 5 more years with having winning records but doesn't win a playoff game, I don't know how that's successful. Like, I'm a Steeler fan. I need Super Bowls. Like, I'm not interested in anything else. So,
I
um,
think you guys will be okay. It just takes a while to find that quarterback. You guys went so long with Roethlisberger that you didn't have to worry about the quarterback position until you have to find that new guy, and it's just
I'm I'm all about the effort. What's been the effort to find that quarterback?
Kenny Pickett in the first round.
Okay, not much effort. You got the eighth pick. You was in a year where the two quarterbacks nobody wanted either one of them. You might as well like again. You should have knew that the year before and went all on trying to guy to got draft the guy the year before or waited for the year after. Like
Mhm.
those. But
Well,
am I
I
only?
like what you guys did in regards to Russell Wilson. I was never impressed with that. I thought Justin Fields would be for what y'all got Justin Fields for, man. You guys
I
got him
agree.
for a half
Which is
pack of
why
cigarettes.
which is why we got him. We didn't think we solved our franchise quarterback problem. We got him because he was cheap. If he had cost 6 million, we wouldn't have got him.
Yeah,
But if we thought he was our franchise quarterback, and we would have paid $6 million for him.
yeah,
Same thing with Fields. Like Fields, how do you think that's your franchise quarterback when somebody already drafted him as their franchise quarterback and now they're trading him to you?
right.
So I'm talking about now. Don't get me wrong. Both of them can be a nice band aid until you get what you need. I'm not. I don't have a problem with either. I don't have a problem with either transaction. My point is what you said. We have to find that quarterback, and so I'm looking at what is your effort to find the quarterback. So I don't even know who next year's best quarterback is yet. But are you already planning to have that happen? And I don't know if that's the case. So last
Kind of
one, we'll
hard to
preview.
say that, and they're always kind of. You guys always have a decent record, so it's not like you guys are picking the top 10. You know what I mean?
That's an exactly. So that's a is that a good thing or a curse?
It's like, yeah, you guys stay in that
Yeah.
middle pack, and you can't ever go up there and go maybe grab your guy.
Love Tomlin. Love Tomlin to death. I think he's one of the best quarterbacks. I think he needs to leave the Steelers. I think he needs to go look for a better opportunity for him to get more control of a franchise and get and be able to show I'm that dude. Right now he can't do that because
But
all he can do
who are you
now,
gonna
what'd you say?
who are you gonna replace him with though? That's the only thing.
Well, let me say this. That you should be able to replace him with someone fairly good or an up and comer because it's the Steelers. It's a franchise that people want to play for. So
And
so whoever the top five choices out there, you should be able to get one of them. You know what I mean? Because my point is, what's the worst thing to happen? You're going to get a coach that makes you what? A losing team? You may have that happen, but you fire him and get another coach. Like my point is, I'm not to me, it's a losing the only reason that not being over 500 is good is for Tomlin right now. It gives his resume that thing that nobody else has. Doesn't do me any good. Like, are you okay with the next couple of years going 9-8 for the next 5 years if you're a Bills fan?
absolutely not.
So why should I be?
It's just
You know what I mean?
you guys need one of them seasons where you're picking around 10, that you can do what we did. Because I forget when we got Josh at like 7, but we jumped up to go grab him. And it's like
Yeah,
you guys just need to hover around that 10 spot so you can jump up into the top 5 picks and go get your guy.
that's not my problem. That's the GM. I don't get paid a million. I don't get paid two, three, four, $5 million a year. I get paid to pay tickets to come to your game, make sure I
You
have
want
cable to see
results.
the game. I buy your gear. I need
You want
results.
results.
I don't need to hear about how hard it is because you pay people millions of dollars because it's hard. If it was easy, you would need to pay people that much money. So again, I time out with that. Like now, I do get mad when I hear people say Thompson need to be fired, and I because I need to ask them why. My point is there should be an agreement that hey, Mike, and I think it starts to be kind of like McCarthy and people who coach for Jerry Jones. It starts to become Jerry Jones likes coaches that won't say nothing or won't want more because he wants to do it all. So you can blame McCarthy all you want. You can blame Jason Garrett all you want, but all they can do is coach the team. Why they don't have this player, why they don't have these players, why they didn't go out and get this thing. You can't blame that on the coach, and that's what's happening with Tomlin. Why you have like he should have had Jason Garrett 3 years ago as his offense coordinator. Tomlin should have, but it ain't his call. It's Khan's call. Well, before that, I think Amir Khan just got there. You know what I mean? Those are the kind of things I'm saying that for me I want to I like you because you showed that you're a great coach. Now you need to what you need to be able to do to win is like you just said, you need a franchise quarterback. Well, who gets us a franchise quarterback? It's usually the GM and the owner, unless you're a coach like Belichick, Peyton, uh, people who have also a lot of say so in Shanahan with Lynch. They work hand in hand on who they're going to get. That's the kind of thing that Tomlin needs to have, so that even if he picks wrong, now you know you can fire him because he did pick the wrong people. You know this, that, and the other. So let's move on here. The other big game, which was Monday night's game, Jets and 49ers. What'd you think of that game?
It was great. Aaron Rodgers actually played the whole game. How about that?
Yeah, that was
I
a
wonder
good
if there
thing.
was an over and under on that one.
The over and under. I can't remember what it was. Oh, you mean on how
But
many games he plays?
no, I mean,
Yeah,
but how
yeah.
long he stays in the game.
Oh, how many quarters? Yeah. So,
He
what'd you think?
he looked okay. He looked a little rusty himself. Their first
Mhm.
couple drives were kind of they were missing passes. They were dropping balls. You could see the
Mhm.
frustration in Aaron Rodgers' face. Garrett Wilson looked really solid that first quarter, but then he kind of fizzled out a little bit.
Mhm.
And they're another team, in 2 years, this is their first game, and so you can't expect them to just sit all down and it's just going to work and boom, let's go. It takes repetition, it takes games, it takes me. You build your real chemistry like on the football field, like in those moments. And I think the Jets will be solid.
Mhm.
You know, I just think it's just going to take a little time. That's all.
Uh, I agree with you. But what I'm going to do is we've been a little soft on these guys, and maybe it's because it's beginning of the year. But I'm gonna try to be a little controversial and have some controversial takes. That Jets defense, they should be ashamed of themselves. Like people said, well, they're playing the 49ers and Shanahan and Salah. Shanahan knows Salah's defense and all of that. However, we watched San Francisco go all the way to the Super Bowl last year. How many teams, you know how many teams they had close games with? And a lot of the teams they had, like the Rams, they had a lot of close games with the Rams. They had a lot of close games with some teams that didn't have the defense that the Jets are supposed to have. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, I thought they
And
ran the ball down their throat. They passed the ball where they wanted to. They scored how many straight times? I just thought that was unacceptable. And to me, if they don't win the next 3 games in a row, I'd fire Sala. That's how
whew,
I feel about them Jets. I heard too much talk about them. Now, the good thing for them is they got a soft schedule coming up. However, Cincinnati thought they had their first game of the year was a soft game too.
yeah, there's always that surprise game, and I mean, and I'll say this too: the Jets remind me a lot of the Steelers because, to your point, with the upgrading offense with Aaron Rodgers, now that you can move the sticks because they could not move the sticks for anything last year. Now that you can move sticks and that Jets defense can breathe, they're supposed to show you why they're lights out. And even with the Niners offense, especially minus CMC,
Hmm.
you should have at least seen a defense that looked different, and they didn't.
Yeah.
I mean, they've got some ball players on defense for sure. So I
Oh, no
completely
doubt.
agree with you on that one. And I just think too, I just think with the Jets, I'll put it in the same category as the Bengals, only slightly different. But what I mean is I'm gonna let them slide on that one. I just think they got to just keep playing and just kind of put it together and
The
kind of
Jets.
yeah,
You talking about the Jets? Yeah, but I think the fifth game this year they got the Bills. I
that'll be a good
believe
one.
I believe that's what it is. But I think they go to like three.
I
They
think
have
it's a away
three.
game.
Yeah, but they have 3 games now. For that they get the next 3 games, they should win.
Yeah.
Um, so
That's
my
right, because
so
we go Ravens, Texans, and Jets. We have three straight away games, which I don't know who cooked that one up.
you have the Ravens next.
We have the
Oh
Ravens
yeah,
week.
third game. Yeah.
I think it's either third or fourth game, but we go three straight weeks away. It goes Ravens, Texans, Jets.
So 4 games. Miami.
You know what? There's no way. Okay,
Then
our
it's
next
my.
game is home.
Okay.
I forget who we play, but after next week, we have a three-game stretch.
Good deal. So let's go ahead and preview some games and get our picks for this week. Just to let you know, last week you were 2-1, and I was 1-2. So you are ahead already.
I just on that
And
big.
no, 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 no. Actually, you only because we're going with the spread.
Oh, that's right.
So yeah. So if we wouldn't have been going with the spread, you'd have been 3-0. You took the Steelers plus the 4,
Hmm.
which were good. You took Miami minus the 3.5. Well, wait. Miami wasn't good, were they? No, they end up only winning by 3.
Yeah, they needed to cover 3.5, didn't
Yeah. So you lost both your games. So you were 1-2 like me. In both your games though, you only lost by half a point. You had Buffalo was the other one minus 6.5.
they?
Yeah. So So that
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 might
was
that
you
might have
got
been a little biased.
you got screwed with those half a points though. Um,
That point to get
me
you.
now me I had New Orleans, which was coasted. They was -3.5. But then I had Cincinnati, which was bad, -7.5. And another bad game I took the Giants plus the 1.5.
They look rough.
Yeah, they made Darnold look like he's a number one guy, franchise
Can
guy.
we please quit calling Danny Dimes Danny Dimes? He don't deserve that name. He never deserved that name. I don't like. This is my problem in the NFL and what teams, whether it be the Jets, whether it be the Dolphins, or certain players, we crown them before they do anything, and I don't like
Yes,
that.
I agree. I
All you
agree.
got to do for me as a quarterback to be an elite quarterback, just win playoff games consistently. That's it.
And don't throw the ball to the other team.
Yeah, I mean, you know,
Yeah, I agree. So let's figure out. Let's preview a couple games here. We got about 10 minutes to preview a couple games. Um, and so let's preview. Let's see. First game we'll preview. We did the Knights game. One of the hot games coming up this week. Um, surprisingly, it is another game. It was a playoff game last year, and that's the Buccaneers and the Lions. What do you Baker Mayfield has been showing some people that Browns wish they had him. I know they wish they had him instead of Deshaun because he looked horrible. And it's in Detroit. Last year, Tampa Bay went in there and almost won the game. So what do you
they
think about
did.
that game?
I think that is all memory. Like last year, I think I'm gonna be honest. I think the Detroit Lions are a team to be feared. I think
Yeah.
they're that good,
Right.
and we got to take into consideration. And I mentioned this on our last episode. I said y'all watch out for James Williams.
Uh,
2 years ago, he was the number 12 overall pick. He is a
yes.
stud receiver, and people aren't
Yeah.
talking about it enough.
Yeah. You
And
did
he went
say
out
that.
there. I think he had like a buck 20 and a touchdown. I mean, he was the star.
Hmm.
Uh, Amon St. Brown kind of took a back seat. My
Right.
point is, they have two number one receivers and a stud tight end. It doesn't get talked about it enough, and they got the
Right.
perfect quarterback to just quarterback it all. And by the way, their offensive line, top two in the league.
Top
David
two.
Montgomery, Jameer Gibbs is only going to get better.
Right.
They are dangerous. And I'm going to be honest, I don't think the Buccaneers have a chance. They might get beat by
Okay.
14.
Jeez. Okay.
Like
So you
I'm
don't even.
still big on Detroit this year. Like I, I, I think they are a force to be reckoned with. I think
Good
they
deal.
might end up in the Super Bowl.
That's a good thought. Let's talk a little bit about this next game, which is going to be interesting because of an injury. We have the Colts going into Green Bay. Malik Willis gets to start for the Green Bay. Looks like Love's going to be out 3 to 4 weeks at least,
Yeah.
possibly 4 to 6 weeks. Um, so what do you think? Is Green Bay's playoffs done?
You
And
want an
does
interesting take on that one? I'm going to tell you, I'm I'm taking the Packers on that one.
Is that right? Okay. Okay.
I'm going to take the Packers in that game.
Because of the
This is the
defense or because
NFL.
of Willis?
I think Willis can, with those receivers, and you've got Josh Jacobs in the background in the backfield. They're going to have to change up their offensive scheme. Obviously, I think they might
Hmm.
be a little more run heavy, but they still have a lot of really good. Like they've got Watson, they got Reed, they have who's the other receiver? They,
Dobbs.
thank you. And I think they will find a way to make it work because they know it's like this. It's like, hey, let's try to win as many games as we can until Love gets back. Like, let's not bring Love back and we 0-5. Let's do come in because they lost to the Eagles. I mean, hey, it's the Eagles. You get it, you know. And in the
Right.
NFL, you really don't want to be 0-2. Last team to go 0-2 and win a Super Bowl, I believe, was the Giants with Eli Manning. I mean, you don't want to be 0-2 in NFL. You just don't.
Right.
So I
Well,
I I I see the Packers figuring out some way to win by three.
I'm gonna go opposite. I'm gonna do just what you said with Tampa Bay. I think Indy wins by at least a touchdown. I think they go in there and they handily beat Green Bay. Green Bay is gonna have to use their run game, and maybe they can get away with running the ball, eating up time, and playing good defense. But I don't think so. I think Richardson is the real deal. I think Taylor will have a big game. Um, I just think Indy should handle them. So I like Indy by at least a touchdown. Next game that's going to be very interesting game that I'd like to uh, uh, preview is the Texans and the Bears. So we have Stroud against Caleb, and you said it was because of the first week. He's a rookie. Expect anything different in this game?
Absolutely not.
So
They
you
are
look.
going to get, and I
Oh.
was like, listen, them Bears, they going to learn today.
So let me
All right.
ask you this: you say that, so what you're saying is you still see him getting whooped, but you think Caleb will play a little better,
Nah, he'll
being
probably
that it's
play about
his.
this. He'll
Oh,
probably play
okay,
about this. What they're not going to be able to do is, I love Romo dudes. You know, Keenan Allen's on the back end of his career. DJ Moore, obviously, no slouch.
all right,
You got Smith in the backfield, but Caleb still has a lot to learn. Stroud is here now, and
yeah,
with those receivers, they got Nico, Tank, and Stephon Diggs with Dalton Schultz, and mixing out the backfield is a better group than
right,
what the Bears currently have, and they are going to click. And I mean, we ain't even really seen it yet. Look for CJ Stroud this year. I don't know what game. I'm gonna go ahead and say it now. I said it on this show, and I don't know what game, but I think he'll have 6 touchdowns one game. There's gonna be a game where
well,
the
and you
Houston
think this
Texans
might
are
be a game?
just cooking. I'm not sure
Yeah,
if it's this game, but there's gonna be a game where Stroud runs off with six
yeah.
touchdowns. It's gonna be one of the where he's just clicking.
Well, they say that
It's
Bears
coming.
defense is tough, but again, it didn't help them too much then. So you may be right. Uh, okay, next game to preview that I think we should preview. Um, I would have to say the Saints and Cowboys.
I could see that one actually being a
Now
little
it's
interesting.
it's in
That's
it's
in
in
Dallas.
it's in Dallas, and Saints is coming off a big win against Carolina, but Carolina's garbage. And you seen what Dallas did last week, so they're in Dallas playing the Saints.
I'm gonna. I think the Cowboys cover 6.5.
You think the Cowboys will cover that six? Actually, you get only six this week, so you may need that. That's a good thing. You don't have to worry about that hook. So,
But they typically play very well at home. I'm not a huge fan of their run game. I mean, Zeke's okay. Zeke's not what it used to be, but their offense is still pretty high powered. At home, they typically cook.
okay. Um, so give me two more picks. You like Dallas minus six? Who else you like this week? You've got like I said, you got the Bears and the oh, another game we didn't talk about is Chiefs and the Bengals.
You
Chiefs are
know, Joe,
Chiefs are
Joe
Chief,
Burrow always seems to get Patrick Mahomes, but it's more in the
uh-huh.
playoffs.
The Chiefs are spotting 5.5.
Man, I'm gonna need 7.5 on that one. I'm taking the Bengals.
Taking a no, it's 5.5. I said.
Five and
You
a
you
half.
like you
Yeah,
like the
I
Bengals?
was joking. I was like, if I'm taking the Bengals, I'm gonna need at least 7.5 after the way they play. That's
Yeah, well, it's only 5.5. So
5.5. You know what? I'm taking that.
you
I
like the
think that they're gonna
Bengals?
bounce back. Listen, Jamar Chase is in a contract season. T. Higgins will be back. You think Joe Burrow's happy about the fact that he just lost to the hapless New England Patriots at home? I think I think they've been running 2 days all week, and I think they all was like, listen, all right, okay. And it's it takes them games sometimes. Sometimes you got to come out and get smacked by somebody that you know you should have beat just to kind of wake you up. And I think that game between the Bengals and the Chiefs is going to be tight the whole way
The whole
because
way.
there's a
Okay.
desperation coming out of Cincinnati. You do not once again you do not want to be 0-2 in the NFL.
True. I agree.
So this is
Uh
desperation.
I like one of the games I do like. I like the Chargers giving 5 to the Carolina in Carolina just because
Okay.
Carolina looked horrible. So I got to go
Oh,
against I got to go who's horrible. And the other team that looked real horrible this week, I'm going against them. I'm gonna take the Washington Commanders minus 1.5 over the Giants. Them Giants. Anytime you let Darnold and come in and just tear you up, even though I think I don't know. It might have been in New York too. In their own park, they got whooped by Sam Darnold. Uh,
well, but let's be fair here. Did Sam Darnold beat them? Absolutely. But this is a Sam Darnold who has some crazy weapons at his disposal. You've got your Justin Jeffersons, your T.J. Hawkinsons, your Jordan
Yeah,
Addisons.
yeah.
I
I mean,
mean, and I'm not knocking Darnold, but I'm just saying those receivers
yeah,
are, you know, they're
good
tough.
deal.
Hawkinson, Jefferson, and Addison. If they had just even like a solid quarterback, I mean, look out.
Yeah, I agree. I agree. So with the one now, who else do you like? Now I know you did say the one game you seem pretty strong about was Detroit -7.5.
Oh, they're going to kill Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Kill them.
So you want to take that as your third pick? You like that?
Absolutely.
Detroit -7.5.
And
Okay.
it's no shade to the Bucks. I just think that Detroit is about to start really cooking. Like they are tough.
Yeah. Now Indy is spotting 2.5 in Green Bay. I think I'm taking Indy minus the 2.5. So I'm taking
I think
two
it's coming
road
too.
fa- I'm taking two road favorites, which you're not supposed to do. However, I
You're
like.
probably
I like that.
even though
I don't know. Now, I also am not a big Green Bay fan, so that could be I see them down and I want to hopefully kick them down without their quarterback. But I really like the Colts. No, they didn't win their first game of the year. Houston went in there and beat them, but I think Houston's a very good team. So, and they played them tough. Um, I like that while Richardson is healthy, like you said, he's got a problem staying healthy. I think they're a dangerous team with him. So they threw the ball to Pierce. They have Pittman. They have Taylor. I kind of like what they got. They always play sound defense. The Colts does. So I like that game. Um, so as we wind down, give us some thoughts on week two. What do you expect in week two? Is there some teams that you especially want to see how well they play, or you think they're going to get behind 0-2, or come? You give me some thoughts on this second week.
well, like I discussed earlier, I am interested in seeing. I want to see what the Bengals. I want to see how they respond
Hmm.
to what happened to them.
Right.
I'm big on resilience and like how you react to. So that to me is the game to watch. And they're playing Kansas City.
Yeah.
Take the overs on any Bengals player. I'm telling you, they're going to come out because they have to.
You really think they're going to come out and score well against that defense, that Kansas City defense?
They don't have a choice. They have to. Higgins will be back. You got Jamar Chase, T. Higgins. Yeah, listen, Jamar Chase wants that bag. He wants that generational wealth. He gonna come
This
out
is true.
and again. He only had like what 60 yards
Yeah.
in that game. Jamar Chase. Let me tell you, he is going to put on a show because he
I
has to. It's like
He ain't got
you
his
want
money
your
yet.
money, you got to exactly that part. So he's got to
Yep.
go out there and show why he deserves his money. He is going to show out.
Let's hope. I don't know. I think there's bigger problems in Cincinnati, but let's see. Um, Kansas City's a team to beat this year. So until somebody playing like they should beat them, I ain't going with what you used to do with them. Burrow don't look like the old Burrow. So to me, they're gonna get pounded. But we'll see what happens. So we're gonna call it a night. Thank you again for tuning in with us, listening to us. Give us some comments. Tell us what you think about our picks. And again, yes, this is the guy, just Sean. Look him up on social media. But not only that, this is the guy that made the statement to Patrick Mahomes wouldn't be anything. Would be just basically a mere anybody quarterback if he didn't get drafted by Kansas City.
You know what, Mike
That's
Bayless? You know what, Mike Bayless?
listen. All I
You
know
over
is
here
what
twisting my words.
You said, and
Uh-huh.
I shared it. Our producer made sure she put that on a reel. So I'll be bringing that up off and on throughout the year as Patrick Mahomes is about 6-0, then 5-0. I mean, then 8-0. And looking like he's going to be the most valuable player again, and they're on their way to another Super Bowl. Let me tell you, just we got to talk about that every time we come on. But you know what that statement you made about Patrick Mahomes reminds me of? In about sometime around 1991, 92, me and my wife was watching a basketball game, and it was Michael Jordan, and we're watching the Michael Jordan game, and this is what she said to me. Look at Michael Jordan. They need to get rid of him. He's a ball hog. All he does is shoot the ball. That sounds like what you said. Patrick Mahomes wouldn't be nothing. He's only good because of Andy Reid. And somebody thinks that Michael Jordan is a ball hog. Like, I don't know who's a ball hog, but if anybody in NBA history should be a ball hog, it should be Michael Jordan. So I I I I just wanted to make you keep eating those words, and we'll figure out where we go from here next week.
In my closing statements, I'll say
Yes.
this. All I said is that Patrick Mahomes would be good. I said, I don't know if he'd be great. Like what we're seeing is greatness.
You can
And you said,
stand on all that. It's all going to crumble.
yes. But
Mahomes
we'll
is
never know because Mahomes will
there's
never be a Chicago Bear. So we're not gonna know.
there's no
I
other
I don't see this level of success if he is a Chicago Bear. There's no
okay.
way.
Okay. Again,
These Chiefs might mess around in three-peat. Now, mind
look,
you, they've been in what a super because he lost the one to Tom Brady,
yeah,
and he's been in two other. He's been in three Super Bowls already in his young career. It might mess around in three-peat. And if
that's
you
correct.
think for a minute that that's going to happen if he was if he was a Chicago Bear, there's no way. And anyway,
I don't know if Brady would have had 7 if he hadn't have been went to the Patriots.
that's fair. Exactly. That's my point.
So then it doesn't.
Situation. So it was the
So
perfect marriage between
so
Brady and Belichick, because everything is about situation.
so
And when you
basically
get put in a
nobody.
great
So nobody's great. Everybody's great because of where they went, not because of how good they are.
situation matters, is what I'm saying.
Yeah, but
It
what about
matters.
all the yards and touchdowns he's thrown? Even if
Mahomes,
they, yeah, even if he didn't go to the Super Bowl, the way he plays the game, how many yards he throws for, how many touchdowns he throws for, how many interceptions he doesn't throw, how many great runs he has and gets the first down on 3rd and 7. Like, it,
Michael McIntyre.
the re,
This Andy Reid, this quarterback whisperer and Andy Reid had Kevin Kolb cooking. He about put Kevin Kolb in the Pro Bowl.
well, because let me say this, I'm not a big, I'm not, I know that it's not all about the championships, but my point is, I've always thought the greatest quarterback ever was Dan Marino. However, when you
Definitely one of the
win,
great.
when you go to Super Bowls many times as Brady has, and you win it, and you find a way to win like he does that many times, and he also has the yards and stuff to go with it. To me, you just can't knock it. He's the greatest of all time, and now Patrick Mahomes is knocking on his door, and he may have to move. Like the goat home that Per Brady lives in, he may not be in there long. Unfortunately, he may have to get
I
out.
I still think it's too early to even knock on that door because getting to a Super Bowl is not easy.
I agree.
It's not. So how many does he
I
have now?
agree.
He's
He's been to
got
Super
two.
Bowl three. He's got 2 Super Bowl wins
He got two rings. Now he needs five more. And
to have the
getting
same
to a
amount.
Super Bowl,
Yeah, but Brady was already
that's
to go. Brady was already to go before he won number 7.
right.
So he only needed to win 6 or maybe even 5 before people said he was the goat. So why does at 5 Patrick Mahomes could be considered a goat with a chance to win 7 or 10, but he's
Because
already the goat.
when Brady won his fifth, it separated him from any other quarterback. That's why.
We'll
So
take that.
that fifth one put him in an upper. It just put him in a different category.
We may have a special podcast on that one. We'll talk about greatness in quarterbacks. All
Hey,
right.
listen, absolutely.
All right. Peace out.
Beatles,
Peace out. Take care.
next week, y'all.
Next week. That's it.